Hey Crazy Crafters! Welcome to Technique of the Week with Krazy Kreations.
Yes, it's Wednesday, which is also known, I guess, as Hump Day, but for us, it's Technique of the Week.
Yes, and we hope y'all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. We're back and ready with a brand new fun technique to share with all of you.
I know, but look at me. I'm still red, white, and blue. I'm still celebrating because this is a happy place to be, and it's a crazy place to be. So my name is Kara.
And my name is Jackie.
And we are a mother-daughter team here at Krazy Kreations,
where we specialize in outline stickers, which are a rubber stamping alternative, handmade microfine glitter paper, card kits, and a lot more crafty supplies.
So much more. I mean, I can hardly wait to show you today. Today is something a little bit more.
Exactly. So if you're just joining us, let us know you're here. Let us know where you're from. We're going to get started by showing you this beautiful card, and then we'll show you how to make it with our technique.
Or parts of it, we should say. So before we get to the card, we are bringing back one of our staple items, and we are showing you a twist in case you haven't done it before. And then, of course, we're known for card making, so we had to make a card.
And you'll want to stick around until the end of the video because this might just be a kit. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
All right. So let's take a look at it. All right, here's the card, and I see something really interesting on there.
Yeah, so it's a shaker card. Look at that. I just love how it shakes, don't you? I love the sequins, and there's some little beads in there. And this almost looks like our wood tag.
Well, that's because it is.
Yeah, so I love this. So this is one of my favorite stickers, outline stickers. It's the bees, and I just think it's so bright, happy, and summery, don't you?
I agree. And isn't it clever how Kara made it say Happy Bee Day?
I know, because it's the bees. I love it too. So what we wanted to show you today was how to take one of our wood elements, which we call tags, right? Wood tags.
Or wood frames.
Wood frames. And make it into a shaker.
Yes, and then not only can you just make it shake, you can add it to the front of a card.
Yeah, so I just wanted to show you shake, shake, shake. I just love that, don't you?
I do.
Okay, so shall we get started?
Yes, so let's see what we're looking at. How did this start out?
Okay, so we sell this product called wood frames, and they come in packets of 2. Now there's all different shapes, right?
Yes, all different shapes and variety. There's probably around 10 different shapes.
Yeah, so this one is our hexagon, and there's only one left in there because I used one here. And so it comes with a matching chipboard back that you kind of decorate first, and then it has this wonderful laser cut frame. Now this is made of 3mm wood, and then it just fits exactly right on there. Now you can use this without the acetate or no shaker, and you could just build a little story just like that.
Exactly, and so this is real wood, and this actually pokes out if you have a little piece stuck in that hole for your ribbon or twine. It just comes right out.
Yeah, so let me just get it so I'm not at an awkward stage.
So if you have a pair of these fine pointed tweezers, they are wonderful for this.
Yeah, so this is a great place to put your twine, like Jackie said, or your ribbon, or here we put a twine through a hemp and we tied a bow.
I call that jute.
You do? I call it hemp.
Let us know what you call this kind of twine in the comments below. We're always curious about that.
Now I noticed that this is blue, so you can alter your wood very easily. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we?
Right, so like I was saying, this is actually real wood. So you can stain it, you can paint it, we can color it. What else can we do to it? Sand it?
Yep, we could do all kinds of things. So you can take this color. This one that Jackie just gave me is B47, which is a very dark blue. And all you have to do is I take the brush tip and just like this, color. Now because this is an alcohol ink marker, it's a permanent marker, right?
It is, it's permanent. Oh, you can also use an ink pad on it, including those ombre ink pads we carry.
And you could put gilding.
Gilding flakes, glitter. There's
Yeah.
so many ways to alter these wood frames.
Of course, you could leave it natural,
Yes, you could.
because natural sometimes is the best, isn't it?
It is beautiful natural.
But you can see not a lot of ink, and I'm just going around, and it's very easy to alter. Now I will tell you, that's what it looks like, kind of all prettied up, and you could put that in there. But you did mention something that you could do to it, which I believe was a sanding block, right?
Right.
So you can, even after you do this, give it a little distress. And that's what I did there on my card.
Now I do want to mention, I think you mentioned this before, these are cut with a laser. So anytime you have an element that's cut with a laser, you might get a little bit of that soot on your fingers, which creates like a little bit of a black dirt on your finger. So it's always a good idea to take a rag, microfiber cloth, and clean it.
Yes, so here is one of those right here, a microfiber cloth, which we're going to find a couple uses. So you can just go here around the edges and get that soot off. But on the wood, I find it's not really that bad. Do you?
It happens a lot more on chipboard.
Yeah, so there we go. All right, so what did you think about that?
That was so easy.
Now, did you like how I distressed it? You could kind of see these distressing, and you could keep going on and on to your heart's desire.
You could even distress it with an emery board or a nail file.
Yes, it doesn't have to be this. This is just something, look how well used and well loved this is, right?
Right.
But I mean, you could do lots of different things. Emery board is a very good one. All right, so now to get to the shaker part, you want to concentrate a lot on what's going to be your background. Okay, so in this case, we're using a couple different papers. So we have this beautiful yellow, and we have a sentiment. So we have this blue and then this strip. So shall we put our sentiment on first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So the sentiment we're using is from one of our sticker sheets.
Yes, it's this one called Happy 4003. Now on here you see a lot of happy birthday, happy birthday. So the first word is pretty easy, right? Happy. So I have a long strip. This is cut at 5.5 by 1/2 inch. And the reason I want to put it that way is because the hexagon has an irregular shape. You're going to actually cut off the excess, okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, so we just want to make sure that when we put our sentiment down, it is going to fit inside of here.
All right, so I just peeled the word happy, and you're just going to kind of use, I love these tweezers, don't you?
I do, and I love using these sentiment stickers. It's so easy, easier than stamping.
Yes, much. Okay, so we have this big word called what?
Birthday. So how did you get birthday to be B-day?
Well, the thing about stickers is you can take that part off. So all you have to do is hold it with your trusty little tweezers, and then you're just gonna...
We can't exactly see right now, but she's just trimming it with scissors.
Oh, was I off? Sorry. I just cut it right off with a pair of scissors. See how easy that was?
Very easy.
And then...
Easy breezy.
Easy breezy. All right, and then here I have the, what do you call it, Earth Day?
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to cut off between that D and H right there.
So now we're making it day.
And I don't need this part right here. So
Yeah, the
get
if.
rid of
We don't
that.
need the if.
No.
Earth. Earth.
Whatever that is. All right, so here's the day. And look at that. How easy was that?
Very simple, but it's also thinking outside of the box because I'm not sure all of us would have thought of doing that.
Now I will tell you, I probably want to get that a little closer, but do you see these little inside pieces right here that were left behind? You can pick one of these up, like I think I'll pick the top of the bee.
The inside of the bee.
Yes, that was left behind, and you could use it as a hyphen.
Very cool. Now I'm noticing one more thing as you're laying down your stickers. Sometimes the inside pieces of the letters get stuck. It's best to lay them down on your paper first and then go back with these really wonderful tweezers and pick them out while they're on the paper.
Okay, so that stays there. What part are you thinking?
I think there's one in between that,
The bee here?
the bee, the swirly part.
You're probably at a bit. Oh, there we go. All right,
There,
there
now
we
we
go.
can read it a lot easier.
Okay, so happy birthday. B-Day.
Happy B-Day.
B-Day. So that's how I got that. So that was pretty clever in my book as well, Jackie. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and take this little strip and we're going to adhere it so that it has a little edge right there. Sound good? So what do we use to adhere?
We're using our Tombow Mono Adhesive Dot Roller, which is our favorite because you can reposition it. Now, I like how she's building this, not even looking at the hexagon shape right now. So she's just positioning all of her papers how she wants, and then we're going to see how it's going to fit inside this hexagon.
Right. Okay, so now we're ready to go to that hexagon like you said. So the first paper, I'm going to go ahead and put it on there. Now you can see it's a little large, right? But not too large. So you can have the striped side, or you could have this kind of, what would you call that
It's
design?
like a swirl or a mosaic look.
Yeah, I think we'll stick with that. It kind of reminds me of these. What do you think? So you could either put it on here, or what's more probably appropriate is putting your tape on here. Now you could use glue, you could use score tape, right?
Yes, any adhesive you want. And remember, this chipboard piece is exactly the same size as the wooden frame.
So I'm just going to kind of turn it upside down so I could see. And if I'm smart, I should go to the top. That way I don't have to cut that part, right? Now the nice thing is the wood is going to come all the way over. So you're really not going to see a lot of that. So now we need to cut this off.
Would you like me to cut?
Well, you could either do it with your scissors like this, okay? That's one way. But what I like to do is use my little score buddy, and this is known as a score buddy, or it's a score pal, but I bet you didn't know this. They make these little what do you call these pads, like the
Healing?
Yeah, self-healing pads that go right in, and I believe Krazy Kreation is going to carry those. So if they're not on the website yet, they will be.
Keyword, going to.
So I'm taking my craft knife because to me that's a lot easier just to go around these edges here.
Yeah, so don't worry about having to trace the hexagon on your paper and then cutting it out. Just glue the paper on and then cut around it. It's so much easier.
So much. And going with one of these is like super easy. So this is just a regular old craft knife. So I bought this at like the hardware store, the mini one, but you could use a bigger one. You could use the actual knife one.
The X-Acto knife?
Yes, the X-Acto knife, but look how that just turned out, right?
And don't worry if it's not perfect because we're going to cover with the wooden frame.
All right, so where is that wood part? It's right here. So if we look, we're going to see how this is coming together. Look how pretty that yellow is, and I like that it's at a diagonal, don't you?
The navy blue and the yellow really pop.
They do. They're very, very pretty. Okay, so now this is where you kind of need that wood to help you position where to put this, because you want to see the word Happy B-Day, and you want to leave room down here for the elements. So you want to kind of position it like that. How does that look for you?
I think that looks good.
So I'm going to go ahead and at the top here, I'm going to put my tape.
Now this is a really good, oh, well, I'll wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
I think I was getting ahead of myself. I'll wait.
Okay. All right, so you can see I moved that up a little, so I'm just going to move it down. I want to get it exactly how I want it. Just like, how does that look? Is it straight?
It looks good to me.
Okay, so then I'm just going to press that down. And then again, I have all this excess, so I'm going to use my handy little cutter.
This is our, what kind of knife is this? Box knife?
Yeah, it's like a box knife. I don't know what they call it at the drugstore, do you?
I don't know. It's a retractable box knife.
Yeah, and I didn't go quite deep enough, so I'll just do it again. But I could use my scissors, right?
Definitely.
All right, so there we go. And look at that. Perfect.
That looks really good.
Okay, so we got all of the cutting out of the way. So now it's time, well, not all of it because there's a piece missing. So we'll kind of keep this here if I can, all right? Okay, so now what we need to do is kind of fill here, right? So this is where all of our elements are going to go. So what are we using today?
Okay, so when she says elements, she means shaker elements. So we are using blue and gold sequins and some of these wonderful yellow shaker beads.
Right, so I'm just going to go ahead and have you pour some of the beads in there. So I love that they're in a little jar, those.
Me too, it's so cute. You just kind of put them on your hexagon.
You could put more. Let's do more. More is fun, right?
More is more. Usually it's less is more.
Okay. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of my gold sequins. Isn't that kind of fun?
Very sparkly.
And let's add a little blue, shall we?
Okay. So we've got gold sequins, blue sequins, and the yellow shaker beads.
There we go. I like that little touch of blue, don't you? There we go.
Now remember, you want to put enough to fill this bottom area of the shaker. You don't want to put in too many or you might not see some of the things. But I think we did a pretty good job positioning all of our elements on here so that we still see the shaker beads and they add color to it.
Now I'm kind of moving these toward the center, but I don't want them too, built up. But that's because our wood's going to go around the edge, okay? So now let's kind of gently move this aside as we work on the acetate part, shall we?
Okay.
All right, so we have a piece of acetate right here. Now this has a protective layer on it, so we need to remove that. That's why it looks a little bit foggy if you look at that, okay? But one of the things that I would suggest you do first with your acetate is remove that protective layering. I almost got ahead of myself for once.
And this protective layering, is it on one side or both?
Just on one side, and you can either try to rub it with your finger like this or take your tweezers, but you can see how that just kind of peels off.
And
okay?
the reason it has this protective layer is to protect it from scratches.
All right, so now this is where I was kind of getting a little bit ahead. I'm taking my microfiber cloth and I'm going to rub both sides. Now, do you know why we're doing that?
I do. We're trying to remove some static, right?
Yes, correct. So I'm going to do both sides. Now, both sides, a good tip is because I may not remember which side I rubbed. So this way, if I do both sides, I know I did both sides. Now, a lot of people have that pouch thing that has some like powder in it, so you could use that, but I just like to use my microfiber cloth, okay? Now, we're going to take our wood. Can you hold this for me?
Sure.
We're going to turn it upside down, and we're going to go ahead and put our adhesive on here. Very important second tip. Don't get any adhesive inside here because your beads will stick to it.
Also, what I was going to say earlier is don't get any adhesive on the tab,
Yes.
the wooden tab.
Okay. All right, so now why don't you go ahead and put that on down and maybe match it so the top doesn't go over the tab.
Okay, so we're going to line up the edge of the acetate with the...
So I don't have to cut it. Thank you.
Good?
Yep.
Done.
Okay, so we have one more cut job, right? So you can again use your craft knife or you can cut.
Wow, I'm seeing a comment from Rhea saying she's never made a shaker, and I think that's a great question to ask. Let us know if you've ever made a shaker card before. These are really fun shakers to make.
They are, and they're easy, and they're crazy, right?
Krazy Kreations shakers. Crazy style.
Crazy style is right. So you know what I like about this wood? You could get really close to the edge, you know? And I think that really helps when you're using a craft knife.
I agree. That's why I like the craft knife method better than the scissor method, because you can get closer to the wood.
Yep. And if you didn't quite get a spot, you just kind of go over it again. There you go. All right, so now, look, we have our acetate.
Perfect.
And it's perfectly on there. See that?
All right, so now we have another step to do. We need to create a little bit of space between our background and the acetate so there's room for those shaker bits to shake.
Yes, so we have these things which are called foam strips, right? And these are really great because they are a foam, kind of like a pop dot that we know, but they're made in these 1/8" strips. Now, here's another tip. So you might want to take, before you peel, your microfiber cloth and go across the side because you want to remove any of that you did, right, Jackie?
Yeah.
So then all you're going to do is go in and you have this wonderful wood that you could put it on, right?
And look, you don't have to worry about it being too tight. You have lots of extra room, so if you don't put your foam on perfectly straight, don't worry because you're not going to be able to see it.
So let's go all the way around this. Do you want to help? I don't know what you could do.
I'll give you...
Maybe you could trim the excess right there, and I'll do the next one.
All right, so I'm just going to take some scissors, I'm going to actually make sure I go a little bit inside of that wood and trim.
All right, so I just took my microfiber cloth and I went along that strip. One time I forgot to do that and they all stuck. It was terrible. Okay, we'll just go here. And then you need to cut for me. We'll do this together.
All right, so I'm going to go inside that wood piece and cut.
So it's looking like one strip does two sides of the hexagon.
Oh, here's another thing I love about these foam strips. So if you're doing this with a circle shape or an oval shape, these strips actually are flexible. So you can bend them into the shape of the circle or into the oval. And so you don't have to worry about cutting a bunch of little pieces and connecting them. You can actually just curve them.
That's a good point. I need you to cut that excess. And we're on our last strip. I could hardly wait. What about you?
I know, it's going to come together so nicely.
Okay. So I noticed there's an extra strip here. And the reason being you need 4 strips is because when you put this part on, do you want to talk about that?
The beehive?
Yeah.
So let me check this out. Okay, so when the beehive goes onto the shaker, it's just using flat adhesive on the wood. So you just put some adhesive on the wood, put your little honeycomb or beehive down. There's going to be a gap between the acetate and the beehive because the wood has an extra space. So just take a little piece of that foam strip and put it behind the beehive, and that way you know it's not going to fall off.
Okay, and meanwhile we got all of this done. How does that look?
Looks good.
Okay, so some of the protective layer is off, some isn't, so let me just make sure. Yep. And so now we're ready to put this over our Happy Bee Day.
And by the way, you want to touch that sticky as the least amount as possible. You want to keep it sticky.
Now, one thing I like to do is see if any of these sequins, do you see how they're not coming up to the plastic? That means we did a really good job with our microfiber cloth.
So now you're just trying to eyeball it to position it, lining up the edges.
And there you go. Put that down. Shall we shake, shake, shake? There we go. How fun is that?
So we just turned one of our wooden frames into a shaker.
Yes, and then here we are showing you the actual card, how to finish it. Now to tie that, we have this little piece of hemp, and I'm just going to give you a tip too. So this is about 12 inches. I like to put mine fold it in half, and then I like to put this loop through the tab here. So just goes in the tab, and then you secure these little loose ends through here and tie a bow. Of course you think if they weren't so curly, right? Okay.
Now you can leave it as like a loose tag style, or you can tie a bow like we did in our sample. And then all that's left is making the rest of the card. So that just requires cutting some of the papers, putting them on a card base, and then coloring the bees and the beehive with alcohol markers on the Krazy Kreations microfine glitter paper.
I think that was so much fun. What do you think?
Beautiful, and I love that those two colors, the gold and the navy blue. It just
I know, I
beautiful.
love it too. It's so pretty. So we know some of you may want to try this out, and we've gathered all the pieces into a little kit that you can make this card, and it makes two, right?
It makes two cards because the woods come in sets of two.
Right. So in this kit, you are going to get the card base and the envelope along with the papers, the beautiful printed paper and solid cardstock. You're going to get two of these wood frames along with the acetate, the beads, the sequins, and some sentiments.
Look
to
how
do that.
perfect that paper is. It has bees on it.
I know, it's so cute. Then of course we're going to give you the micro dots, the hemp, everything you need to make two of these cards is going to be in this kit. And all you need is a basic toolkit like we had, and what else? Your alcohol ink markers to color the beautiful glitter paper. So you're going to get that glitter paper too.
Now there will be instructions in the kit, so if you want to learn how to color, there will be instructions. You can also watch one of our other videos and see how to do that beautiful coloring. You also get the foam strips. Did you mention that?
Oh, no, I didn't mention that. So everything you need to make this except for a basic toolkit, but we are giving you the foam strips, but you will need scissors, adhesive, tweezers, and your alcohol ink markers.
I know, I just think this is so gorgeous. The kit is $14.99, and that is a Technique of the Week special.
It is. So you're getting a lot of product, but most of all, you're learning a new technique. And then once you master this beautiful card, following what we use, you could go off and make all of your own.
Yes, you can turn any of our wood frame shapes into shakers. How fun is that?
Super fun.
Okay, so if you're interested in this kit, we'll put the link below. It's called the Shaker Card Technique Kit, and it's $14.99, limited quantity available, and it is a Technique of the Week special.
Right.
So I think that was so much fun. I love this Technique of the Week.
It is fun. I don't think we've done this for a really long time, but we have to remember how fun some of these things are and how creative you could be when you put them to different uses.
So if you enjoyed this Technique of the Week, creating this fun honeybee shaker card, please give us a thumbs up on our video. Leave us some wonderful comments. We appreciate reading those, and it's just so much fun.
It is so much fun. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we will see you back here on Friday, Live Friday, where we have deals and reveals.
And we have something really fun to show you, so you're not going to want to miss it.
That's right. So enjoy. Don't forget to get your Shaker Bee Kit because that is super fun. KrazyKreations.us underneath the Technique of the Week. All right?
So I'm Jackie.
And I'm Kara.
And we hope to see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.